Is your Labrador pulling you every time you go for a walk? Is it driving you mad and turning what should be a lovely experience of walking your dog into one of the worst parts of your day? Well, don't worry, that's exactly what we're going to talk about in today's video. Welcome back to the Fenrir Labrador Show. If you are new here, my name's Will. I'm a canine behaviourist and I'm the founder and CEO of FenrirCanineLeaders.com. This channel is dedicated to teaching you everything you could ever want to know about the incredible Labrador Retriever and then how to become a high-level canine leader that raises perfect Labrador companions. So if this is your first time here and you want to get involved in this incredible community, then start by hitting that subscribe button and that little notification bell so you never miss a future Labrador video. Now let's delve into today's topic, and I've had an email from a viewer that wants help with their Labrador, that every time they go for a walk it pulls their arm out their socket and it's just become a miserable experience, and it's got to a point where they then don't want to take the dog for a walk anymore. Now, as a canine behaviorist, this is a problem that I see all of the time, and what tends to happen is that people are dead excited about walking the puppies. Why they're kind of small and young, they let them get away with pulling, but as they get older, they get bigger, they get much stronger, that then becomes a real challenge. It's just a miserable experience to go out on a walk with your dog, which then makes people start to exercise them less because they don't take them out as much. Then the dog isn't exercised as much, which then devolves into a whole host of more behavior problems, and it just kind of snowballs negatively from there. However, if you've got a dog that does walk lovely to heel, it makes what is a bad experience the highlight of your day. You look forward to taking your dog out for more walks, longer walks, so they're better exercised. Then when they come home, they're tired, and a tired dog really is a happy dog. So getting a dog to walk nicely to heel, in my opinion, is one of the most important things that we can do for a happy, healthy relationship with our dogs. Now, there's lots of things that you can do. If you're watching this video because you're just about to get a Labrador, or you've got a Labrador puppy and you're trying to be proactive and not make this problem, then I applaud you. And there's definitely things you can do. My Perfect Puppy course might be an ideal place for you to start. It's linked in the description box below. And that takes you step by step of how to teach heel and get it perfect first time round in a more positive training-based approach, as opposed to waiting until it's too late, and then it's much more difficult to then be able to unpick and kind of modify that behavior and kind of rehabilitate that behavior and turn it back into a positive. Now, of course, okay, cool, that's all well and good, Will, that's okay for them, but I've got a Labrador that's pulling my arm out my socket and I need to address it now because it's becoming a real issue, okay? Don't worry at all. This is something that I deal with every single day and it's no problem whatsoever. Now, I always take a two-step approach whenever I do any kind of behavior modification program. I always start by implementing my boot camp protocol with the clients and their dogs. It's a 1-month protocol and it's designed to restructure that relationship, to allow the owner to become a calm, consistent leader that has that leadership relationship with their dog, so their dog knows to look up to them for guidance and direction under all situations and circumstances. If we can achieve that, that's the longer fix. It's the harder approach. Like I say, it's a 1-month protocol, but then everything falls in behind that, including the ability to walk our dogs nicely to heel. Because when the dog is out on the end of a lead pulling, they are out making decisions and they're not seeking guidance and direction from us as their leaders. When we've got a dog that's walking nicely on a loose lead by our side, when anything happens, they can look up for us to guidance and direction, and we can communicate what it is that we want from them because we are in charge, we make the decisions, and we're in control of this situation no matter what happens. That again is why it's so important that we have a dog that is walking by our side so that we can have that communication with them rather than them being out at the front and we instantly have a broke down relationship and there's no communication there whatsoever. So I like to utilize kind of a two-step approach. First of all, we can't go into the second stage, which is where we actually fix the problem, until the dog knows how to walk to heel in the first place. So if you've got a dog that you've done the training and it understands, maybe in an environment like this, indoors, no distractions, you can get them to walk to heel. If you use the heel command with some positive reinforcement and some food rewards, they know how to heel. However, when you go outside, that all goes out the window. Well, that's a clear kind of sign that your relationship's trust broke down, because they're making decisions for themselves when you go outside. Hence why we work on that boot camp protocol to restructure that relationship. But if that's the case, okay, perfect. The dog knows what heel means. It knows what we want from it, and therefore we can move to the second stage. However, if the dog has never done any heel work, then we need to go all the way back and start with teaching the dog how to heel in the first place. So to do that, it's dead straightforward. I will do kind of whole dedicated videos in person teaching this, but these kind of Q&As are a little bit more kind of us just having a nice chat. But the principle is very simple. We use a lure and reinforce strategy. So we lure the dog with a bit of treat, we get food reward. We lure them, so we put the food in front of their nose so they'll follow it. We lure them nicely into our left-hand side. When they're on our left-hand side in the desired place, we mark that behavior with the term that we want, heel, and then we reinforce it. We repeat that process over and over again till the dog understands that on our left-hand side, the term heel means come to my left-hand side and something good's going to happen. We can then start turning on the spot in multiple different directions, luring them, marking and reinforcing. Then we can add a few steps in forward, turn 90 degrees, step forward. And as long as the dog's in the right position on our left-hand side, we mark it with heel and we reinforce it positively. Then we can add a lead to that process. Then we can slowly start to take it outside and increase the level of distraction. And we've got a dog that will walk nicely to heel. Excellent. So we've taught that. That's stage number one. Now we move into, okay, well, the dog knows heel, but we're still having issues. So again, we've fixed stage number one. We're now in step number two. Half of that responsibility is the boot camp, restructuring that relationship. And then we need to put it in a management strategy as part of that as well. And that's where I utilize my correct, redirect, reinforce. So if the dog makes a decision to pull while you're on a walk, you must have an ability to let them know that that is not acceptable behavior. Now, there's three really different ways that we can correct that behavior with a dog, depending on what you feel more comfortable with. All of them work. Some of them are quicker than others, but some of them do involve a little bit more of a punitive approach. So again, I'm a balanced trainer. I like to have access to all these tools in my toolbox. And if it means the difference between me being able to save a dog's life or not, I will utilize those tools if required. But in this circumstance, we'll start with the first two that offer kind of no punitive approach. And then the third one that you might want to consider if it's at a stage of, I'm going to have to take this dog to a shelter if I can't fix this problem, then I would then dip into utilizing that tool as a last ditch resort. So the first one, we're going to use a verbal correction. So we've got the dog, when we go out for a walk, maybe it sees something and it wants to go off. We might add in a real stern verbal, no, anything just to break the dog's attention. Snap them out of it, look up to us. That's what we're looking for. Snap them out of the bad behavior, look up to us. Sorry, boss, what do you want? Then that's the correction. Then we redirect, heel, bring them back into heel position. If they drop into the heel position, yes, good boy. Then we reinforce it. So we correct with the verbal correction. The second they move away from that heel position, that correction goes in with beautiful timing. Instantly. We snap them out of it. We get them to look up to us for guidance and direction. We then redirect them back to the heel position, which they know what it is because we've just spent time on building up that command in our training. Then when they drop back in, we then go back into the positive reinforcement realm and we reinforce that behavior. That's one opportunity. The second one is kind of one step up from that, and it is the second they make that decision to pull away. If they ignore that verbal correction and don't drop back in line, what we do is we call it my 180 stop routine. So the second they move out of that heel position, we give them the verbal correction, we turn 180 on the spot and we stop and we face the other direction. We then redirect the dog back into the desired place of our heel. Once they're there, we then turn back the way we were meant to be going, and then we move forward again. If they break that heel, again, the verbal correction goes in, we turn on the spot, and again, over time, this isn't a quick instant fix, but the dog will learn, every time I pull, I want to go in that direction. Every time I pull, we stop, we have to turn around, I have to wait until I get back into place. Then when I'm back in place, then we can start going again. The dog will quickly learn that over time, it's just much easier for them just to stay in the heel as it is, because then we move in the right direction. I follow my boss. As long as I look up to them for guidance and direction, I do as I'm asked, we get the positive experience of moving forward as a team. Okay, cool. That's the 180 stop routine. Both of those allow us to communicate with our dog what we don't want, but we're not necessarily using any kind of physical punitive approach. But it does take a little bit longer to achieve. Now, the last approach we can utilize is a physical corrective approach. We could utilize a slip lead, a choke chain, a prong collar. Anytime that the dog moves away from that heel position, they get a pop on the collar. That's the correction part. We then redirect them back to the heel position, and then when they're back in the heel position, we then reinforce it to heavily praise it. Now, a lot of people, the positive only world, don't like that approach. It's not an approach that they believe in. They say it doesn't work, which I don't mind if people don't believe in that. I don't get into a war of words. I don't get into heated arguments. And any clients I've worked with in the past, I give them the opportunity. I'm like, look, these are the options that we've got to solve this problem. As a balanced behaviorist and trainer, we've got access to all of these tools. This one will work the quickest, but does involve a little bit of physical correction. If you're comfortable with that, we can have this problem solved in the next half an hour. No, you're not? Okay, well then we'll utilize some of these other ones, but be aware the process takes a little bit longer. To say it doesn't work simply isn't true, because I've got hundreds of in-person examples of it working. You can go and check out channels like Tom Davis at Upstate Canine Academy, Larry Crone, Robert Cabral, all people that can demonstrate that it works very efficiently, very quickly, and it allows you to have a happy, healthy life with a dog just by utilizing one of these tools. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, then you've got those other options, and they will work. They'll just take a little bit longer. So again, it's completely up to you. If you want to go for that third approach and you want to resolve it quickly, but you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself because maybe you've never done it before, then find a local balanced canine behaviorist or trainer that has experience in utilizing these tools. However, those tools can be misused, and I don't think it's good when people only utilize that approach. I have a 90-10 rule. For every one time that you utilize any kind of physical or verbal correction, I think that it should have been surrounded by 9 examples of positive reinforcement. It's my 90-10 rule. So if you're finding that you're having to use corrections 9 times and only praising once, it means you're either setting your dog up for failure, or you are not finding enough times where we're able to naturally reinforce and praise the behavior, and you need to address either of those issues. However, if you're praising your dog lots, you're praising and reinforcing success and desired behaviors, and then every now and again, 1 in 10 times, we have to say, no, that's not how we behave, and I'm telling you not, then I think that that's absolutely okay. So again, I'm not going to get into a battle with anybody on those theories. I'm here to help people, to help their dogs, to have happy, wonderful lives with their canine companions, to keep these dogs out of shelters and stop them being euthanized. It always comes from a place of love, and I think as long as it's coming from a place of love yourself, then there's lots of different ways that we can fix this. But get out there, work on walking nicely with your dog. I promise you, it's one of the best experiences you'll ever have. Walking my dogs is the highlight of my day, and there's nothing like walking multiple dogs, all to heel, all on a loose lead, and being able to just get out and walk in Mother Nature. It's good for the dogs, but it's also good for us. So I encourage you, if there's anything that you can take away, regardless of which approach you want to take, put in the time, effort, and dedication required to be able to walk nicely with your dog, because you and your dog will be more than happier for it. So if you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new here. We've got 2 Labrador videos coming every week, so there's plenty for you. And I can't wait to see you on the next episode of the Fenrir Labrador Show.